The Temanim have a tradition about that. Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Nice to see you. How's everything?
Fine. Very good.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. We're continuing with Yosef. Here we are. So it says like this, right? I'm just going to start. I say the prayer first. וישמחו בי חברי ישמעו גם טהור ואל טהור טמא, גם מותר אסור, ואל אסור מותר, ולא יפשלו חברי בדבר ההלכה, וישמח בהם כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו, דעת ותבונה גל לעיני, ואהבת לשלוט מתורתך. Okay, so now it says, right, ומור אביד הפחות ומור אביד ההתר, is בסנהדרין. בסנהדרין, it says in Sanhedrin, it's talking about the mosif al temania, he's adding on 8, which is, as we said, right, not good. You shouldn't add more than 8. Not a good idea. The Ktsat Tema, he says, it's a little bit wondrous. That how is that pasuk, that verse, implying the Ebaya Avid Hachi, that you can, if you want, you can do like that. You can do 8. The Ebaya Avid Hachi, whatever you want. Do 4, do 8, whatever comes to your mind. Right? V'tzarich lomar, de'af zeh b'mashmaot gedilim. So it says, it must be that it's in the implication of the word gedilim, which means like, strings, knots, whatever. The Avid Gedelim mitchelet, if he makes the strings from tchelet, velavan, and white also, right? Both of them. Shnei chutim mizeh, shnei chutim mizeh, 2 from here and 2 from there. Gedelim kinan be, that we call Gedelim, right? 2 and 2, right? Nice, even Steven. The Avid mikol min Gedelim. But if he kegon arba'a chutim, but if he's making from each type 4 strings, and 4 white and 4 tchelet. Right? Gedilim kinambe, we call gedilim, which is a plural. Belav mosif hu, it's not really adding anything there. Interesting. Aval erame tefeh, but have a mosif. If you put more than that, then you're already adding. That's already a problem. As we said, right? 8 is the maximum. Upegarua, and therefore it's considered to be inferior, whatever. Omed uleolam, so uleolam gedilim. So it says really gedilim. The word gedilim, bainan dehainu arba'a chutin. That it's 4 strings. Ben sheish bo shnei minin. Whether you have 1 type or ben shen bo ela min echad, or 2 types, whatever it is, right? 1 or 2. Kimo shapira shashi, like Rashi explains. Okay, so this was the language of a certain posuk that we quoted, and then it goes on. So it says from these words, Shezosh Katab Rabbeinu, B'Shem Ri, that which Rabbeinu wrote in the name of the Ri, the Ad Shmonek Kfulim, Shen Shisha Asar, that as long as you have 8, which is folded, which is 16, Yachol Yosif, you can add until 8 you can do, not more. Haino Mitchelet V'Lavan, that means both of them, right? Tchelet and Lavan, two types. White and blue, Arba'a Chutin Kefulim, Shem Shmona. That means 4 times 2, which is 8, folded over, right? Shmona Mitchelet V'chen Milavan. So you have 4 of each, right? Which is 16 altogether, once you fold them.
It has to be equal, or the hell, for.
This is the maximum, This is the maximum you can do.
But can you do like uneven?
Yeah, we said if you're lacking, you can make it up with the other type. You know what I mean?
So just one to hell is enough, and the other ones can be.
It's not really enough, but if you don't have, you don't have. What do you do, right? Do the best you can.
But it's
not lechatchila. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course, kosher. Yeah, it's all kosher even with white, right? That's also kosher. But
what's the best?
2 and 2. 2 and 2 is the best, right? This is the ideal situation. Okay, good. So then he goes on to say, so he says, "Rabbeinu satan b'makom she'aya lo feresh." So he says, Rabbeinu, the Tur, didn't really explain well this whole thing, right? He kind of made it undefined. And even though there is it's possible to say that Rabbeinu holds that when you do have tchelet, then you can do 8 folded over, right, which is 16. Shem shishasar. Hashta delekat tchelet, but since we now don't have tchelet, right? Lavan b'makom tchelet, so therefore the white comes in the place of the tchelet. Lavan ka'eh, so Lavan ka'eh. Right, so it's all white. So here also you can do 8 times 2, right? Even though it's all white. Shem Shisha Asar, which is 16, right? Harishon Nirei Yoter, but he says the first opinion is more probable, right? So meaning what? That you really shouldn't do 16 if you have only one type. Okay. So the Tshuvot Harashba. So it says in the Rashba, Matzati shenish'al im hosif al lamed bet chutim. It says like this. Let's say he added more than 32 strings, right? Which is 8 times 4, right? That's what he's talking about. 8 times 4, 4 corners, right?
Oh, total.
Yeah, all total, yes. Right. So Tzitzit im pasul. Is that pasul? If you add more, v'shiv im hosif badai pasul. So it says Rashba, if he added, for sure it's pasul. Kedamina b'Sanhedrin, like we say in Sanhedrin. But it says right that there is tzitzit sheyeshbo leosif. But we're allowed to add. Ve'im osif gorea. But it says if you add, you're actually making it worse. So in other words, it's possible that the Rashba holds that there is a prohibition of bal tosif with tzitzit. You know, according to what he's saying, right? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he analyzes this now, right? So he says, you know what? It's possible that he's referring to our times that we don't have tchelet, and therefore he tells you, right, 32 is the maximum. That's it, right? You can't do 64. Right, like we said in the name of the Ri. So he says, possible that when there is tchelet, nami kama. It could be that he's talking about also when there is tchelet also. You shouldn't do more than 32. It's possible, as we said, right? Not really so clear. The leolam en mosifin alamed bet. According to Rashba, you shouldn't do more than 32 altogether. Live, right? Live your hearts, right? Ben hakol, ben hakol. V'chen ireh midivre samak. It comes out from samak. Shekatav b'siman kuf ein zayin. He writes in this place, shelo leosif al mitzvot. Right? Don't add on mitzvot. In other words, they hold that there's bal tosif here. Kegon la'asot chamisha chutim b'tzitzit. Don't make 5. You got to make 4. If you put 5, you're bal tosif. You're adding to the mitzvah. That's what they hold, these rabbis. Shehem asara kfulim, right? Which is going to be 10 folded over, right? Too much. So okay, now we get to the Rambam, right? Rambam katav perek aleph ve'en nechutei anaf minyan min Torah. Oh, look what it says, right? Rambam. That really, from the Torah, there is no number here. Oh. So then he describes, right? How do we do tzitzit? So it says you put 4 strings, the koflam, and fold them over, b'emtza in the middle. So it says Maran, it seems like this is what he wants to say. But Torah, we don't have in the Torah explain how much strings you should have.
Nowhere.
Right. It doesn't say that. Right. But from the rabbis, it's 4. Right? Yeah. Chutin, kefulim, fold it over. Like we said in Tchelet, it's a parak over there in Menachot. Rav Acha bar Yaakov Rame Arba'a. So it says, right, that this rabbi used to put 4. The Aifluhu, the Rabbi Yirmiyah Dehava Rame Tamanya, Paliga Rav Acha. So this guy used to put 8, right? There was two rabbis. One put 4 and the other one put 8. So he's cholek on that, right? It seems he's cholek on the first rabbi who put 4. Arav Acha v'savar shemaniya nechutin midivre sofrim. So he holds that, as we said, right, that the number of strings is from the rabbis. This whole issue. Shmoneh shem shisha asar. Right, chutim midivre sofrim. so it's 8, which is 16. כשמוסיף על המניין שקבעו סופרים. So once you add to that, which is already going overboard, עבר בבעל תוסיף, you're already transgressing בעל תוסיף. למור כדאיתלה ולמור כדאיתלה, right? Each one according to his opinion. One says 4, one says 8, right? You said. והיינו דאמינן, that's what we say בפרק נחנקין, in this parak in the Gemara, so he says, but there's tzitzit, which is from the Torah. Perusho, and what's the explanation? Midivre sofrim, it really means from the sofrim. V'yesh bo leosif. What does that mean? 1 second. Whatever. Okay, we'll see. V'yesh bo leosif. There's to add. Ve'im hosif gorea. But if you add, you're making it worse. Ve'anan kaima lan kirav acha bera Yaakov. So he says we hold like this rabbi, the first rabbi. So meaning what? That we put 4.
Rabbi,
Can
the opinion of the one that puts 8, 16, right?
Right.
Is there an opinion that we can, so you can put between 4 and 8, anything in between, but not more?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we said. Any of those numbers is good.
Right.
As long as you're within that, right? Yeah. Yes. 8 is maximum, 4 is minimum, right? So, so it says, therefore, if you put more than 4, according to that opinion, you transgress Baal Tosif, you add it to the mitzvah. Yosef, so it says in Yosef, כתוב שיש אומרים, some say, שמניין החוטין שיעור יש להם, that, there is a number for the strings, how much you have to have. Whether it's maximum or minimum, right? So it says altogether we want 32, as we said, right? That's the magic number. Once it was folded, right? He says. So he says, right, in Kabbalah, there's a big discussion about this, right? Kabbalistic stuff. The Amok, right? It's also very deep, he says. Oh, there you go, right? What did you think? It wasn't deep? So since all these rabbis, they're all arguing Balaitu. He's like alone against everybody. And that's how we paskin. So he says, therefore, don't add more than 4, which is 8, right? That's it. Don't play games. Don't be a hero, as they say. Okay, good. Right? Very nice. Goes on to say, yeah.
64 is the 2 hearts.
I'm sorry, yeah, 2 hearts, yeah. Levavot. Yeah. Okay, levavecha. Rabbeinu Agadol.
Both hearts.
Okay, so it says Rabbeinu Agadol Mari Avuhav. So it says, right, Mari Avuhav. It's interesting, by the way, in this Rabbi Mari Avuhav, as I told you, this was Maran's rabbi. So he calls him Rabbi Agadol, but it's interesting, that at the beginning of it, Yosef, like, in the first Simanim, he brings them a lot. And then later on, like, he kind of disappears from the picture. It's interesting, So I don't know exactly what happened. Probably he didn't write on all sugyot, He probably wrote on certain sugyot didn't write. He doesn't bring him in the later parts of Beit Yosef. Like, you barely see it there. Interesting. Okay. It's, as far as I remember, it's like basically in, until the end of Tefillin, I think. That's where pretty much it goes. Okay, interesting. Just an interesting point, Okay. So so he says he made a duke from the Rambam. So one doesn't hold back the other, right? The white doesn't hold back the blue doesn't hold back the white. How's the tchelet? If you don't have tchelet, just do white, right? Also another scenario. Let's say you did tchelet in white, right? And then what happened was the white broke. Got cut, whatever, right? So now, right, it went to the corner of the beged, so it's not kosher. So now the tchelet got left by itself, right? Kasher, it's kosher. Oh. The Sfia leg the Rambam, Sheim ena nutchelet natil shne chutei lavan. So you know what he says? The Rambam holds, Mariav says, that if you don't have tchelet, you really need to put 2. That's it. 2 white ones. You don't need more than that. So therefore, if you had 4 and 1 broke, you're still good. That's what he's saying. Interesting. Right? So he says he wasn't careful, right, with this. לרמב"ם לא היו מטילים תכלת אלא חוט אחד מן השמונה החוטים. So the truth is, he says he wasn't really careful about this. You know why? Because according to Rambam, by the way, this is something which we've heard about. According to Rambam, the rule is that the tchelet should be only 1 string, not 2. He holds that it's 1 string. So therefore, it doesn't fit into the opinion of the Rambam. So if he puts white by itself, then you got to put 7, right? Not 2, not 4. Lavan lefachot, you got to put at least 7 white ones. So it's possible that he even requires 8. Maybe it's not enough with 7. Because the 7th one is not really in good shape. Rosho Aruch has to be long enough. That it has to be, when you fold it, has to be long enough to make the springs. So it says Rambam explicitly right over there in that place. It says, he says like this: if you make lavan without tchelet, לוקח אחד משמונה חוטים וכורך אותו על שאר החוטים. So says the Rambam, you see from here, right, that even if you don't have tchelet, he tells you to do 8, 4, which is 8, right? So you see from there, it's not correct, he's saying, right? הרי מפורש עושה לבן לבדו. So you see from there that if he made white by itself, בעינן 8 חוטים, we need 8 anyway. כפולים שהן 4 חוטים, which is right, and 4, וכתיבי הרש"י, according to Rashi, Zal, Umash Katab, so we can pass like Rashi, that's what he's basically saying, right? So Rambam and Rashi are the same, that's what he's saying. It's the same thing. Right? Umash Katab Hare She'en Lo Tchelet Ose Lavan Lebado. And that what she said, that if he doesn't have Tchelet, he makes white by itself. Lav Lememra Shelo Yatil Yoter Mechutim. Doesn't mean that he should put more. Mima Shehu Matil Belavan, that he's put white. When you have Tchelet. Even if you're making white by itself, you still need to have 8, right? So this is the conclusion of Maran, you know, you need 8, no matter you have it or you don't have it. Bottom line, right? Then goes on in the tour, right? You cut the heads of the strings, and put them inside the corner. We're going to explain this whole thing in the end of the Siman. Right? We'll explain it later on, it says, right? It says over there in Perek Chelet, so this rabbi used to put 4 and fold it, right? And then put into his clothing, whatever, his cloak, his robe. So he used to, right, he holds that you need 8. Just like if you have patil. What does that mean? If you have tchelet, right? I guess that's what he's saying. What is aiflu? What does that mean? Kofel, he folds it, folds it into 8. Before he folds them. He hangs them, I'm sorry. Bekanaf in the corner. And then he brings it in, biglima, brings it into the clothing. Machnis hakefel benekev talit. He puts in the folded part, right, inside in the hole of the talit. What does that mean? On van, he ties them, right? He makes like a bow. He bows them, whatever. On van, shechozer umachnis shnei orchoshin betoch hakefel utluim be'aniva betalit. And they're hanging because he made some kind of a bow there to keep it in place. But Rabbi Yirmiyah Medifti, so it says this rabbi in Gemara, but there's another place where it says it should be 8, which is 16. Right? So make up your mind, right? Is it 8? 4 which is 8 or 8 which is 16. So it says, but lo avik lahu, when he wouldn't even do that knot that he read that bow. More bread than Ravina avid kedidan. So he says this rabbi is doing like our opinion. Rashi explains gedidan, like we do, machnis arba'a chutin, that you put 4 strings, and then you fold them. So according to the other opinion, he folded them before he put them in, and then he made some kind of a bow. Like, we don't do that, right? This is not our shita. Our shita is this, right? What Rashi says here. What do? We stick it in and then we fold it, right? So there's no reason to play games. You don't make some kind of a bow. You don't need a bow. Right? It's because it's already held by the fact that you folded it. You know what I mean? Okay, good. So it's according to everybody. You have to fold the chutim either way, right? You got to fold them. It's got to fold them. That's what it says in Tosfot. This is the language of Tosfot. And that which we do, right? 4 into 8, fold it. We're relying on this rabbi. It says, right, he put 4 and he folded it. The old Tanya Besifri, it also says in Sifri, which is a midrash, right? Bet Shammai Omrim, says Bet Shammai, Arba'a shel Tzemer, be'arba'a shel Techeret. He holds, right? 4 and 4, each one. Ve'im Tomar hi gufa minalan. And if you're going to ask me, what about itself? How do we know? Shetzarich lechoflo. How do we know you have to fold it? Ve'ehava mefarashinan asegdil ufatlehu. If we're going to explain like this, make it and then fold it from inside. You got to fold it like some kind of a whatever string, right? Shahik kfula, which is folded. Nicha aval b'kontras lo peresh ken. But Rashi didn't explain like this. He says, okay, interesting. Ve'az yeh arba yud bet orkam yud bet etzbaot. So the length will be at that point when you put it in and they're folded. We need 12 fingers, right? As we said, right, of length.
Rabbi, I got confused. Are they talking about the same thing? One, so saying 4 and 4, but they're doing the bow.
Yeah.
You still get 8. And the other opinion says 4 folded, and you also get 8.
Right, but the difference is that the first guy, he was folding it before he puts it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't do that, so I don't even know what that looks like. Exactly how he did that, but in other words, he had a system like that where he folded it first, then put it in, and then made some kind of a bow to tie it so it shouldn't come out.
Oh, so 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna make a tie out of the 8 strings, put it through it holds from one side only.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean, but the shot is that he folds it and then puts it in, and then makes a bow to hold it. Right, that's the idea. So everybody agrees you got to fold it. The question is when, right? Before or after? This is the only question. You know what I mean? Okay, good. So goes on. We already explained this in the beginning of Siman, right? That you have to have 12 fingers, which is 24 centimeters. Right? Each finger, which is a gudal, thumb, right? So the length has to be 24. Okay, very good. So we're done with the Bet Yosef here. So we'll go to Shulchan Aruch, right? But I think there's also some tour that we didn't read here. But let's just read the Shulchan Aruch first, and we can make it up afterwards. I think we're doing Yud Bet, no, in Shulchan Aruch? So it says like this. It starts minyan, right? So it's minyan chutei tzitzit b'chol kanaf. So he says, what's the number in each corner? Arba kfulim shem shmona. 4 folded over, which is 8. Ve'im hosif pasul. If he added pasul, so we pass on this pasul. Right, interesting. Why? Because we don't have tchelet, right? That's the reason why. If we had it, the chorah would be kosher. You could put like 4. Yeah, you could put 4 more, right? Okay, so then it goes on. Yachtoch rashi chutin arba'a. So he says, first cut them, the heads of the strings, vitchavem b'kanaf, then stick them into the corner, right? B'chaflem, and then fold them, right? That's how we do it. Ve'az yuchet is going to be 8. Okay, that's the Shulchan Aruch, pretty simple stuff. So let me just see what's in Yud Gimel here into Shulchan Aruch. What is the Gimel here? Yeah, I think that seems like we're gonna be doing that later. So let's go back to the tour and make up where we read. I think we lost some. We didn't catch up there in the tour. Right. So I just got into the tour. I guess we'll read from here. You see, Katab Balai 2. It says like this: Katab Balai 2. She'en shiur lechotin lemala. Right. There is no measure in terms of maximum for the strings. Even would say Yosef Kemoshi would say, as much as you want. We read this already. The Ri Piresh says Ri explains that shmonek fulin, right? You can have 8 folded over, Shen Shishasa, which is 16. That's how Ri Paskins, right? And then Yachol Leosif Tefei. You can also add more. He says, Lo. I'm sorry, Yachol Yosef. Tefei lo, but not more than that, right? Not more than 16. That's what he's saying. Not more. V'achtoch rashi achutin v'yitchavim b'kanav. Cut the strings, put them inside the hole, right? V'kaflim, and then double them, fold them over. Ve'az yu orkam shenaim asar. Then the length is going to be 12. It's about 12 fingers, which is 24 centimeters. Shehu shiur orech hatzitzit. This is the length of the tzitzit. V'kach arba chutin. So then it takes 4 strings. Mitzad echad, on one side. Ve'arba mitzad echad, and then 4 on the other side. V'kshor bet pa'amim. So you do a double knot, right? That's how you start the tzitzit. The first step is make a double knot. Right, that's the first step. You can check on your tzitzit, right? You can see it right there. The first step is a double knot.
Right, like 24. It has to be exactly 24 centimeters.
No, that's the minimum.
Minimum.
Right. As we said, maximum, there's no maximum, right? Until it drags on the floor, you can do as much as you want. Okay. Right. So good. So ייקח 4 חוטים מצד אחד ו4 חוטים מצד השני. ויקשור בית פעמים זה על גב זה, ואחר כך יכרוך ארוך סביב השבעה, ובזמן שהיה, so he says, then what do? Once you make a double knot, start winding the long string around, right? Go around, right? That's the second step. Step number 2. Right? Good. So then he says, right, ובזמן שהיה תחילת, in the time that we had תחילת, היה צריך לדקדק בכריכה לעשות 7. So then you had to make sure, right, you had to do 7 of them. The first one had to be 7. We do that anyway today. The minhag is like that, right?
7.
The first one is 7, yes.
The long string goes over 7 times.
Right.
After the double knot.
Right. After the double knot, you do 7, right? Exactly. לעשות 7 חוליות, כאשר הם מפורשים בגמרא, like it's explaining the גמרא. ועתה שאין לנו תחילת, but it says now that we don't have תחילת, אין לעשותם מקיליים, don't make shatnez, right, as we said, you can't do shatnez. אלא צמר לצמר ופשתים לפשתים. So what do? Wool for wool and linen for linen. Right? וגם אין צריך לדקדק בחוליות. Also, you don't have to make sure, you don't have to count the number of windings you do, right? You don't, it's not as necessary. Even though our minhag is to count it anyway, right? That's our minhag, but according to halakha, you don't need.
If you don't have
That's what he's saying. I'm sorry?
only if you don't have the helmet, you don't need to.
Exactly.
The whole system.
Can you silence this thing? I don't know, it's making some noise or whatever. No problem. So, very good. Ah. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. וגם אין צריך לדקדק בחוליות, ורמב"ם ז"ל כתב, מנהגנו לכרוך בחוליות כאין שכורכים בתכלת. So says the Rambam, the custom is to do like we used to have when we used to have tchelet. We do the same. There you go, right? ואדוני אבי הראש ז"ל לא היה מדקדק, but he says the Rosh was not careful about that. He didn't care. So it says something, whatever here. כתב דהיידנא אין צריך לדקדק. So he says this rabbi wrote that you don't have to be careful about that. בכריכה with windings. ואפילו אם כרך רובה, even if you did like majority, row, a lot, whatever, או לא כרך בה לחוליה אחד, or you just did one. Can you imagine the one? כשרה, it's kosher. One is kosher. אלא עיקר מצוותה שיכרוך עד שיהיה בכריכה עם הקשר כרוחב גודל. But it says, you know what, the mitzvah is to do enough that there should be like a thumb, like two centimeters there. At least that much. With the kesher, right? So meaning what? The double knot and the windings should be at least 2 centimeters altogether.
And that's it.
Huh?
The rest are just
all of them like that. Each one should be like that.
right. No special system.
Right. Yeah. Right. וכושר בית פעמים, so you do it 2 times. וחוזר וכורך וכן, right? And then you wind it. וכן יעשה עד שישלים להי קשרים. So what do? You do that 5 times, right? You gotta do 5 double knots on tzitzit. You know how it is, right? V'dal krichot. So it's going to be 4 windings, 4 series of windings, and 5 double knots. Binehem. V'yer kol hakaruch rochav tefach. And each one should be tefach. The wound part should be 1 tefach at least, which is 8 centimeters, right? As we said, right? The wound part should be 8, and the string should be 16. Altogether 24. Right? This is the perfect dimension. This is the perfect ratio. Okay, so very good. Be'ashar bet tfachim, so then the rest should be 2 tfachim, which is 16, as we said, 16 centimeters. Be'od yesh min hagot acherot. So he says there's also other types of customs there. Be'asyato, to do it, right? Different customs. The kasher katabti, like I wrote, he says ken hu ikar. That's the proper way to do it, like we said. Be'ezahir, so you should be careful. Lachtoch rashei chutim. You should cut the heads of the strings. Lasotam shmoneh, to do 8, make it 8. Kodem shiachroch, before he winds it. Right, otherwise it's going to be a problem. Because if you did it the other way, first he wound it, and then he cut them. Pesula, it's pasul. Why? Because it has to be cut, otherwise it's not kosher. So again, right, same problem as we saw before, right? In the other cases. אבל אם חתך את הכנף ואחר כך חתם תשרה, פסולה. אבל אם תחבם בכנף, but if you put it in and then cut it, it's okay. That's not a problem, right? Okay, right. רק שיחתכם קודם כריכה, but you have to cut them before you do the windings. That's the most important thing. Okay, so we're done with the tour. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're saying something?
You can't cut them afterwards. Once you
You can't, right, you should cut it before you do the windings, otherwise it's not gonna be kosher. You have to do it again.
so you made if you made it too long, too bad. Basically,
If you made it, what, I'm sorry?
if you made it too long,
Too long?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
like the strings, so they're you can't cut. So after you wind them, you finish it off. You can't make it shorter. That would
No, we're
be-
talking about it's like attached, you know? Like, it's not cut. You know what I mean? Like it's still attached to the yarn, you know, whatever.
Oh,
you know what I
that- I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
It can't be like that. It has to be cut down the size before you, right, whatever size you want. Right? If you want a long size, you can make long size. But make sure you got it cut beforehand.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. So that's that. So we're not gonna go now to, let's see what we got here left. Got you Dalet in Bet Yosef, which is long. Long. Wow, that's the material there. Look at that.
Maybe one pasuk in the-
Ooh.
in the Shulchan Aruch, right?
Here, then it goes to Yud Gimel. That's the interesting thing, right? So it starts with Yud Dalet and then goes to Yud Gimel. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So there's a huge amount of Bet Yosef over here, huge. May take a couple of days to do this, finish this on. Yeah, it's good. But this is like the main part of Tzitzit, you know, the main element is here. You know what I mean? How to wind them. You know what I mean? That's like the main issue.
Right.
That's why you need a lot of attention to that.
We're doing it according to the Zohar, or according to
I'm sorry?
Are we doing it according to the Zohar?
Yeah, I mean, there's really, you know, there's no contradiction between the Zohar and the Talmud when it comes to this.
Hmm.
You know, as far as I can remember, you know, there may be a couple of small things, very small differences, you know, nothing really major, you know, nothing really major. Okay, good. We're gonna get into a lot of interesting issues, though, you know, regarding how it's done and different customs and so forth and so on, right? There's a lot of issues that come up. Right, so altogether it's 15 here. So, but they're very long. So I guess we'll go step by step, right? First we'll do Yud Gimel, right? Take some baby steps, you know. Okay. Okay, so it says like this, right? It says Muhammad Yosef. והזהיר, לחתוך ראשי החוטין לעשותם 8. Be careful, right, to cut them and make them to 8, as we said, right? This is the language of the tour. So then it says, Muhammad Yosef, Perek Kama de Sukkah. In the first parak of Sukkah, Aminan, the Rav Machshir B'Talan, right? Rav was Machshir if it was tied hung. ולא פסק ראש חוטין שלהם. He didn't cut them first. Shmuel Levi postin, but Shmuel Levi said it's not kosher like that. Pasul. So then we asked the question. We asked about Rav. Tanya, right? We have a brayta which says, "Kilaan v'chakach pasak rosh rashi chutin." Let's say he first he tied hung it, right? He hung it, and then he cut the strings. Right, Shanaim. Pasulin, Pasul, the Salik, the Kashya, and ends up as a Kushya over there. That wasn't answered. But here's Rashi. Rashi explains, Telana Tzitziot, he hung the Tzitzit in the hole, the Kinafot Talit, in the corners of the Talit, Chut Echad Kaful Arba, right, each one, each string folded over, 4, the Tochavo, and then he sticks it in the canal and sticks it into the corner, the koflo, and he doubles it. Right. So you know what's the problem here? What he did was he took one string, you know, and he put it in like 4 times because it's very long, and then he's gonna cut. No good, right? That's what we're talking about. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You may think, oh, it's like you're saving time, efficiency, can't do that. Right? Yeah. So, so what you have there is 8 folds, right? You don't have really, but it's only one string. And then you cut them, right? But now all of a sudden now became 8. Like before it was 1. Right? And if he forgot and he didn't cut it, until he did all the windings and knots, like the kishahem, so therefore it's pasul. It was made with pisul. The end ba elachut echad, because there's only one string there actually, until you cut it. Right? That's the whole thing. And then he cut them. Pasul. This is the problem, right? It's the wrong order. First, you got to cut and then make the tzitzit, right? Not the other way around. Because he made them pasul. Okay, אבל לא תחבם בכנף, ואחר כך חתכם כשרה. But he said, if he just put them in, and then cut them, it's okay. Until he actually did this, the knots. Right? He's got to cut them though before he starts doing the winding. כתב רבנו הגדול מרי אבוהב, says Mari Abuhav, על זה, אף על פי שכתב הרב, זה הדבר. Even though he wrote this, ולא מחלוקת, he wrote it like it's, only one opinion, right? No מחלוקת. Right? באדם וחווה, what? What was that? Okay, whatever. Posel, all right, so this book called Adam Chava. Okay, so there's a book like this, right? Posel, he puzzles this, right? Of a Sefer Mitzvot. So it says in the book of the Mitzvot, Gamken, Sefer Mitzvot, Samag, right? Samag, Gamken, Amar, Tovhu, Shelo Itchavem Bebeged Ad Sheichachatchem. It's good that you shouldn't put them even in there. Stick them in until you cut them first. That's the proper thing to do, he says. So he says proper to be machmir. There's a lot of people make mistakes about this. They first put it in and then cut it, right? Okay. So they're going to Svara the Rav, right? Who's the Rav? Let's see who's the Rav over here. So, right, it's talking about the tour. Okay, good. Very nice. It goes on to say, so says Maran, I don't see a mistake in this minhag. In other words, the fact that they put it in and they cut it afterwards, that's okay, as long as you didn't tie it yet. So he doesn't agree with Mari Abuhav, but he has a lot of problems with Mari Abuhav. A lot of issues he has. Unfortunately, that happens many times. The Rabbi and Talmud have a lot of machloket. That's the way it is. Okay, so Resh Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan, right? There was the whole thing. They made a career out of that, right? Machloket with each other. Okay, so so it says, Klal. So everybody agrees that it's mutar to do like that. No problem. You could allow to cut them after you inserted them. Kanaf into the corner. Like it's mashma from Rashi. Because he says, right, it's only a problem when you made the gedilim already, the knots, the kishahem and the windings. That's what it seems to the Rif and the Rosh. They saw like this, that if he first put them and then tied them, and then he cut the strings, they're pasul. But it implies that if he first put them and then cut them and tied them, so it seems like everybody agrees, right, that it's kosher like that. לכן נראה דברי הרמב"ם. Also Rambam comes out like this, it says. בפרק א', ציצית, הלך י"ד, לכן כתב הר"ן, also the Ran, בהדיא, דהכשיר, he was מכשיר, כתב דהכי מוכח בגמרא. That's the way it comes out in the Gemara. ונראה דהיינו מדמקשה בגמרא, because it asks in the Gemara, וסבר שמואל לא אמינן פסיקתן זו, היא עשייתן. So we don't say, right, Shmuel holds that by cutting them, it's not like making them. But it says Shmuel, if you put in two corners, in one shot, and then he cut them, right? It was like connected. Two corners were connected.
Mhm.
You know? Yeah. Kasher, kosher. But you told me it's a problem. Isn't he talking about that he first he ties it and then cuts it? No. So he says, no, it's not true. Just the opposite, right? First he cuts it and then he ties it, so therefore it's kosher. This discussion in the Gemara, right? So then, why would you think? Right? You may have thought to say, you may think that we need that there should be already corner at the time of the patil of the string, but it's not true. Kamashmalan comes to tell you, right? Rashi explains like this: he put two corners in one shot. In other words, it was like one long string, basically, right? Here and here. Right? He made four bends, right? Four folds, arukim, long ones, like two tzitziot, the size of two tzitziot. And he puts in the head in the corner, and then the other corner, right? The kafaf arishon, and he bent over the first one. So he got them like to evenly distributed one to the other. My love, the shekosher, isn't he talking about that he tied it? Asag gadil bezo bezo. He made the knots in both of them. And then he broke it, right? And then he cut it. Let me just see what time it is. Okay, we got a little time. So it says when asu shitaim, and then became two. Even though they were made of pisul, because it was all before the string was cut. We need that there should be already corner at the time patil. The time that he hangs it and the strings, we need already one corner, and not two. So you see from there, Miss Gemara, that if you put the tzitzit, and then he cut them, the strings, it's kosher. The samag katuv, the samag it says, the kodam shiatchil l'kshor v'lichroch. So it says the samag, before he starts to tie and wind, yachtoch, first you got to cut, right? Those strings. She'im lo yachtoch, because if you don't cut it, ad de'achar kshira, until after you already tied it, right? It's made of pisul. Adkan hare adkan. That's the end of it. So here also, right, we see the only puzzle is if he cut them after winding them and tying them. But after he just put them into the corner, the kanaf calls the man shelo kashar, as long as he didn't tie it yet, and he didn't wind it, shapir dam, it's okay. Right? Then you can cut the strings like that. So it's not what she said, it's good to do it even before you stick them in. That's only like a good advice, not really obligation. You know what I mean? Okay. Why? Why do we give him like good advice like that? Because we don't want him to forget and then also do the windings before he cuts it, right? This is what we're concerned about. Very good.
How can you do that?
Huh?
How can you do that if you haven't cut it yet?
It's long.
Yeah,
So you
but
got a lot of slack,
no, you did one already. Like you put it through two holes at the same time,
Yeah.
and you wind it. So what are you gonna do with the first corner?
Oh, well, I'm not spatially so oriented to tell you what he's gonna do, but trust him, there was something to do there, whatever. Rely on their brain power, right? Whatever. Okay. So, לכן יש לפרש מה שכתוב בספר אדם Bechava. That's also how we explain this book. Adam and Chava. That's what it says over there, right? Pashut the pek kama de sukkah. It's pashut the first parak of sukkah. The tzarich lachtoch rashi achutin. Got cut the ends of the chutin strings. בעניין שיהיה כל אחד לבדו קודם שיתחבם before he sticks them in בכנף in the corner. ואם חתכן אחר שתלן, if he cut them after he put them in the corner, he hung them כנף in the pasul. So it seems like he's machmir, right? This rabbi, more than what we just said. The mishum etzat tova kamar. So this is only etzat tova, it's not halacha. That's what he says. Interesting. שצריך לחתכם קודם שיתחבם בכנף ואם היו אינו נפסל אלא אם כן כשרם. But it's not pasul until he ties them. ואחר כך חתכן, and then he cut them. ואחי דייק ממה שכתב, that's how we medek from what it says written, ואם חתכן אחר שתלן, he cut them after he put them כנף in the corner, ולא כתב, ואם חתכן אחר שתכוון. He didn't say he cut them after he stuck them in. Oh. Interesting, okay. בכנף, וכתן הרשע שצריך, it says in the beginning, צריך לחתוך ראשי החוטים, you gotta cut the ends of the strings, קודם שיתחבם בכנף, before you put them into the corner. The Talan mashma, because hanging them means what? That he tied them already. I see. But when it says sticking them in, and he didn't tie them, lo mifsal in pasku as not going to be possible if he cut it at that point. Umash katuv bekolbo, that which it says in kolbo b'sefer orchot chaim, also in this book, b'tzarich limdod hachutim tchila. You got to first measure the chutim, right? How long they are. And then cut them biachad together. Before you put them in the corner. Shame lo pesakan, because if you didn't cut them beforehand, before he puts them in the corner, pesula. So he seems to be also machmir, this rabbi. Ve'ari katav, and the Ri says, even lo pesakan kodem shechavan. If you didn't cut them before he stuck them in, as long as you didn't tie them yet, ksharim is kosher, as we said, right? But if he tied them before he did cut them, pesulim is pasul. So that's exactly what Maran holds. Adkan. Yesh lomar shemash katav b'shem Ari. The Ritzah say that whatever he wrote in the name of the Ri, hu perush mash katav b'tchila. It's a perush of whatever he wrote in the beginning. Sheim lo pasakan kodem sheitinem b'kanav. If he didn't cut them before he puts them in the corner, pesula, it's pasul. Lomar dehainu dafka kesharan kodem pesika. It's talking about where he tied them before he cut them. Because tying is called giving, putting. And you should explain that Ri is coming to argue with the first opinion. Okay, I guess we'll stop here, and we'll continue. So here we're in the Farish, right there. Don't forget that. Take a picture of it. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we got something done, Baruch Hashem. This is very long, but the truth is, it's repetitive over here because he's repeating the same thing over and over. Why? Because he's bringing different sources, which are saying the same thing basically. But he's trying to explain them to say that they all really agree, basically, to the same idea. Not like Maria Avuhav, right? Poor Maria Avuhav. He doesn't. What can I tell you? He doesn't get a break over here. Okay.
Building a case against them.
Okay, thanks for coming, everybody, on Zoom. God bless you. Laila Tov.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. All the blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow. B'ezrat Hashem. Chag Sameach, Chanukah Sameach. Be happy. Be blessed. Amen. Amen. How are you, Nisim? Okay. All right. So here we go. All right, that's it. We're done.
Thank you, Rabbi. God bless you.
Thanks for coming.